truly one of the most empowering feelings you could ever experience in your life comes from being part of a community. Communities are places where you feel like you truly belong. It's a group of people who share a similar interest, who share similar goals, perhaps, a group of people who are there for a common cause, who look out for one another. Now, this could mean different things in different communities. There could be communities of people in a village. There could be communities for a hobby. There's various types of this that we'll talk about in other videos. But for the sake of this episode, I have to share this because this is something I've been so excited to talk about, where one of my dreams actually came true. It might be silly to some. It was so impactful for me. So if you know anything about me, I'm a huge skateboarder. I've been skateboarding for 22 years now, and it's been one of the most life-changing things I've ever been a part of. I'm surprised I haven't made more episodes on it yet, but there's so much that I can say about what skating is, how it functions, and what it's done for my life. The communities that it's put me in, the people that I've met, the lessons I've learned, how it's helped me be better in business and my personal life and relationships and just with anything at all. It's absolutely insane how much of a sense of belonging so many people feel when they're part of the skateboarding community. I've met doctors, lawyers, scientists, gang members, total band geeks, everything in between, people who are homeless, old people, young people, men, women, you name it, all senses of styles. There's no limit and there's no uniform to be put and assigned onto a skateboarder. That's the beauty of it. It's this weird, messy, chaotic thing that's super rebellious and cool, but also sometimes uncool for certain groups. And there's so much happening in this creative, artistic world that so few people understand who are outside of it and have no knowledge of it. So I'd love to share a piece of that with you all today, relating it back to this idea that community is one of the most important things we can ever experience. So with that out of the way, this thing that I did last weekend was a complete dream come true. So there's this place in LA called The Barracks. It was founded by Steve Barra and Eric Costin, I think around 2007. Those guys are legendary pro skaters. Eric Costin was actually in the Tony Hawk video games, if you've ever played those and enjoyed those at any point in your life. He's a complete legend in the skate community. And I was 2 feet away from the guy and got to meet him, talk to him. I got to meet Steve Barra, take a photo with him, talk to him about the Barracks and all the things that are going on in skating. And it was just the most amazing experience ever. So they created the Barracks, and it's this giant skate warehouse that has a bunch of obstacles. It's an indoor skate park, right? But it was only really accessible to pros. So the pros would go there, they'd film content, and it very quickly became this centralized social media kind of hub, this special place that was coveted and sacred and secret, right? Like, oh my God, the Barracks. So if you're a skateboarder, you know of the Barracks. And over time, it started to get so big that they started putting more and more and more content out. It got more and more of a following, and then they could host events there and have private parties and bring people in and show it to people. And because I've been a skater for so long, it's always been something in this community that's been so exciting to me that I'm like, I want to go, I want to see it, I want to skate it, all the things. But of course, it wasn't easy to get to. And you can't just show up and skate too. So every year for the last 13 years, they've done this thing called Battle at the Barracks. And essentially what it is it's a game of skate or horse where two people compete against each other and you Rochambeau, and right at the beginning of the game, that person starts and does their first trick, kicking off the game of skate. You have to do a trick on offense, and the other person has to copy that trick on defense. If the person on defense misses the trick, they get a letter. If the person on offense misses their trick, the other person gets to then try their trick to be on offense. So the role switches back and forth. Whoever spells skate first is the loser. You get one try to try the trick, and at the very end on your E, you get 2 tries to try the trick. So just for context, just for understanding of what this is, and Battle at the Barracks is where they get all these pro skaters together to battle it out and duke it out for the victory. And every year it's been so exciting, and it gets more and more hype every year. There's more people, there's more energy, there's more excitement. And I've always wanted to go. And they only, at the end, they do this huge thing called finals night. And that's when they get all these people together and all the cameras. And it's gotten just more and more hype over the years, more and more energy and community, right? The whole thread in this episode is all this community aspect of how something with literally a piece of wood with wheels has brought so many people so much happiness. It's unbelievable what this community has done and how much it's brought people together. People I've never would have interacted with or made friends with before. Now we have something in common. We share a common language. We share a certain set of beliefs. And anywhere you go, if you're a skater, you can relate to this. The second you find out that someone skates, it's an immediate connection. There's so much to talk about all of a sudden. There's so much to relate to. On top of that, the way you see the world is different because everything is your playground, essentially. Someone looks at a park bench as a meaningless nothing object, a place for sitting and moving on with your life. Whereas we look at that as hours of entertainment, of skill development, of battles to get a trick, to learn something, to film something interesting, right? So this community is amazing. It's huge. And one of my favorite skaters of all time, Mike Mo Capaldi, I've watched countless videos from him and seen so much from him. He, at one point, was one of the most YouTubed skaters. And I always thought it would be so cool to meet him. But of course, it's no easy feat. I got to meet him. I got to hang out with him. I got to talk to him and learn more things about him and skating and just hear his perspective. He was so cool, so chill, down to earth, just a mellow guy. And he seemed to just have so much love for skateboarding. And it was so evident and so clear that this community is so easy to bring people together. So I just felt like right at home. I'm meeting these legends from the Tony Hawk games like Kareem Campbell and Eric Costin. And it's just insane to me. And I meet my heroes like Mike Mo Capaldi and Chris Roberts and Jamie Griffin, the champion. And it just made me feel like such a deep sense of belonging. So I go to the barracks. I get there early, hours early. I stand in line, happy as can be. I get inside and I literally get a seat front and center. We'll see. I was standing like for 5-6 hours straight. I was dead center, looking right down the middle. And I was like, nobody's going to take this spot. This is perfect. And I'm sitting there filming so many clips, just freaking out like, oh my God, oh my God. All these pros are going by. Chris Cole, Nick Holt, Tyler Peterson, Jamie Griffin. It was just insane to me. And when I was younger, I met a bunch of other pros through a different contest called GVR. I'll save that for another episode because I have a lot of cool stuff I could relate back to psychology and different topics through that. But oh man, it was just amazing. And the craziest part is that as I'm there, I'm so invested in what's happening and I'm just so focused in a state of flow, getting lost in what's happening around me, right, at this event. And it was so cool because the inspiration for this video, the idea of community and skateboarding, all of that really shined true. And it kind of shot into my head because right next to me, I don't know who these people were, but I'm assuming and guessing it was one of the pro skaters' girlfriends and his homies. It was like his really close friends. And one of them, I actually talked to him and he said he grew up skating with one of these guys. And he was like almost emotional explaining it because he said, I remember growing up in Texas, like we would skate these parks and nobody was there. It was like we were just little kids, scrappy kids skating and trying to learn tricks and figure shit out. And it was just insane to imagine that I did the same thing with my friends and I grew up with them and we skated together and it was so much fun. And now he gets to see his friend on the world stage of skateboarding in this super, super impactful community of millions of people all around the world who love and cherish this thing, whether they skateboard or not. I looked around, I saw tons of people where I was like, you probably don't skate, or you may not have ever really been interested in trying to learn how to skate at the highest level, but to watch it, to enjoy it, to stand on a board and ride it, to just exist in the community and be part of something that's exciting, that brings people together through a common language of tricks, of obstacles, of different things. It's people that you would never guess or think twice about. And yet here we are bonding so heavily over this thing in our community. It doesn't belong to one single person. So the sense of belonging I felt was unbelievable. And I'm talking to this guy next to me, and he's like almost getting teary-eyed explaining how proud he is of his friend for making it to the finals night at Barracks. And we're watching, oh my gosh, the craziest tricks go down. I'll show some clips of some of the things that happened and some of the really exciting moments where people just lost their mind. The energy at skate contests is like nothing you've ever experienced before. If you go to a real skate contest, a professional skate contest, organized event, I'm telling you, they have some of the craziest, highest energy, most chaotic, insane experiences ever. Even if you don't skate, I think it's such a fun bucket list item thing. It could be a cool date idea. It could be a cool friend, whatever thing. Try to go. Maybe I could talk about this more on something else to help people find them, but oh man, they are just way too much fun. So I'm sitting there. I watched the whole event. I'm standing up for hours and hours, and the final match came on, and I had my money on Jamie Griffin the entire time. He's one of the guys who I watched for years on Instagram skating and doing these crazy tricks, and it's cool to see how far he's come to now be on the world stage of skateboarding and showcasing his talents. And he won it all. He shut it down, and there were so many crazy moments. Again, I'll show some clips and share some of the highest energy moments that we were freaking out about, and some off my phone and some I'll grab from the Barracks channel. But it was really, really cool. And everybody is just commenting on the tricks and how much fun they were having. And I did end up getting this board. So let's see if I can get this on camera. So this is Jamie Griffin. He's the champion. And I got a signature too on here. We got Jamie Griffin. We got all the stuff on the bottom. Look at that. Definitely not going to skate this, but it's so cool. This is such a great prize to have. And I bet money on Jamie, and he won it all. He took it home. So it's just incredible. I got to meet him, talk to him, grab pictures. I'll post all that so you guys can see it. And it was just such a wonderful reminder of how much of a kid I felt in that moment. I wasn't thinking about bills. I wasn't thinking about car insurance or this thing or that problem or this stressor or this crazy project at work. I literally was so invested in a state of flow. Time didn't exist. Nothing mattered at all. I was so invested in this thing, just existing there in that space with my community. It was so much fun. It was so enriching for my soul. And after the event, I was just blown away to just walk around the Barracks and stand there at such a legendary place. And it was also crazy because this was the 13th year, And it's also the last time that they'll ever have the Battle at the Barracks at that specific event location. So I don't know what that means in terms of where they're moving, but Steve Barra, one of the founders, him and Eric Costin stood up and announced that this would be the last Battle at the Barracks at that location. So more to come. Maybe info's out now. I haven't dug super deep, but yeah, it was just a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings, all the things, and meeting my heroes. And it was truly a dream come true for just a normal skater like me. So all of this to say, this was a selfish episode for me because I had to talk about it. I had to just share my passion about skating because I could talk about this for so long. I think there's so many things that I love about it that other people could relate to who don't even skate. And I definitely plan on making many more episodes in the future around skateboarding, teaching discipline and talking about failures and talking about fun memories I've had with friends and building connections and being rebellious and going against the grain. And I mean, it just doesn't stop. There's so much to say, but all of this to be threaded by the needle of community, a sense of belonging. So if there's anything I could do to recommend to you around this stuff, it would be to really, really think about those things that you're passionate about and go find those communities, go find those events, go to those things where those people go to. If you love rock climbing more than anything in the world and it's all you think about, go to rock climbing gyms, go to rock climbing events. Maybe there's group communities that get together and have fun contests or film videos together and do things as a group. That sense of community and belonging will stay with you for so long. And this is hardwired into us as human beings. We're emotional creatures by nature. We have evolved to be part of communities. We rely on one another's. These hunter-gatherer societies, these groups of people where everybody's doing their bit, everybody's helping out one another in this community. So again, if there's anything I would recommend from this episode, it's one to just figure out what your biggest passions are, what communities you might join and be a part of, and share those experiences with other people because it makes it so unbelievably enriching for your soul. So I hope you enjoyed this episode and enjoyed this little walk of passion with me. Again, I could talk about this stuff all day long. So I appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out. And as always, guys, take care of yourself, take care of those around you, and I'll see you in the next episode.